You're sitting there, maybe it's a Sunday afternoon, scrolling through your phone, when you see one of those posts. Someone you went to high school with just bought their second rental property. A coworker casually mentions they're set for early retirement. A cousin posts about hitting an investment milestone that sounds unreal. And then you look at your own situation. Maybe you've saved some money. You may have a decent job, but 40 is either already here or you can see it on the horizon. And there's a quiet question in the back of your mind. Am I where I'm supposed to be? Here's the thing nobody tells you about turning 40. It's not a deadline. It's not a finish line, but it is a moment where life forces you to look in the mirror, financially. And for many people, that reflection is uncomfortable, not because they failed, but because they realized something important. Wealth, stability, and freedom don't just happen. They get built intentionally. And if you haven't been building, the results show. But before we go any further, you need to hear this. If you feel behind, that's not the end of your story. It's often the beginning. The difference between people who end up financially secure and those who don't isn't starting perfectly. It's waking up and getting serious, even if that wake-up call comes later than planned. I spend a lot of time thinking about money, not just the math, but the psychology, the emotions, the ways our brains quietly push us into bad decisions. So today, let's talk honestly about what you probably should have accomplished by age 40, financially and professionally, and more importantly, how to catch up if you're not there. Because this isn't about shame, it's about a map. There's a myth that by 40 you should have everything figured out. The big house, the impressive title, the investment portfolio you casually mention at dinner parties. Social media has turned this into a highlight reel that makes everyone feel behind. But the data tells a very different story. According to Federal Reserve surveys, about 60% of Americans couldn't cover a $400 emergency with cash. That includes people well into their 40s and 50s. The median retirement savings for households aged 45 to 54 is around $100,000. That sounds decent until you realize that that's only a few years of modest retirement income. Most people aren't crushing it by 40. Most are somewhere between doing okay and quietly panicking. So if that's you, take a breath. You're not uniquely bad at this. The system is designed to make building wealth easy, but it is possible if you're intentional. So what does a financially healthy 40-year-old actually look like? First, an emergency fund. 3 to 6 months of living expenses in accessible cash. Not invested, not locked away, just boring, liquid money that keeps your life from falling apart when something breaks. Second, a net worth checkpoint. A common benchmark is having 2 to 3 times your annual salary saved and invested. Not a magic number, but a sign that compounding can finally start working for you. Third, at least one income stream beyond your day job. Not necessarily a full business, just proof you're not dependent on a single paycheck. Fourth, debt under control. High interest debt, credit cards, personal loans should be gone. Mortgage debt is different, but carrying expensive debt into your 40s is like running with weights strapped to your back. And fifth, and this matters more than people realize, strong financial habits. A budget you follow. Automatic saving, regular check-ins. Wealth is built on systems, not motivation. Now, if this list makes your stomach drop, stay with me, because understanding why people fall behind is just as important as knowing the targets. Life doesn't move in straight lines. Some people lost their 20s to financial crises. Some graduated into job markets that didn't exist. Others dealt with medical issues, family obligations, layoffs, or divorce. And here's what research shows. Financial stress literally reduces cognitive bandwidth. When you're in survival mode, long-term planning becomes harder. You didn't fall behind because you're lazy or irresponsible. You were likely operating under pressure in a system stacked against you. Housing costs exploded. Healthcare is unpredictable. Education costs outpaced wages. The game is genuinely harder than it used to be. But here's the good news. At 40, you still have time. 25 years is a long runway. Let's make this concrete. If you're 40 with little saved and you invest $500 a month at a real return of about 7%, you could have roughly $400,000 in 25 years. Double that contribution and you're closer to $800,000. Add Social Security, maybe some part-time work, and suddenly retirement looks possible. If you're behind, you can't just match the average. You need to accelerate. That may mean saving 20 to 30% of your income if possible, not as punishment, but as buying back your future. Every dollar you save today could be $2 or $3 later. When you see money this way as future freedom, saving stops feeling like deprivation. It becomes power. Now, let's talk about what actually moves the needle. Not coffee, not tiny expenses. The big levers are housing, transportation, and income. If half your income goes to housing, the math simply doesn't work. Downsizing, moving, or house hacking may be uncomfortable but powerful. The average new car payment is over $700 a month. That's wealth leaking out of your life every single year. A reliable used car does the same job without destroying your future. And income, this is the most underused lever. Expenses have a floor. Income has no ceiling. Changing jobs, developing skills, negotiating, these can change your entire trajectory. And when you have even a small financial cushion, something important happens. Your negotiating power changes. You stop accepting whatever comes your way. You start choosing. This is the real value of financial milestones, not the money, but the options. To save consistently, you have to track spending. Say no sometimes. Stay disciplined when no one's watching. These aren't just money skills, they're life skills. But beware of lifestyle creep. Raises disappear, spending expands, and people earning six figures end up broke. Wealth isn't income. It's the gap between what you earn and what you spend invested over time. Milestones aren't rewards, they're checkpoints. So if you're behind, here's the catch-up plan. Get clear on your numbers. Attack high-interest debt. Aggressively build an emergency fund. Max out tax-advantaged accounts. Increase income where possible. And adjust expectations honestly. A later retirement with stability still counts as success. Shame won't move you forward. Action will. The best time to start was years ago. The second best time is today. Consistency over decades beats intensity for months. Stop comparing yourself to highlight reels. Run your own race. So let me ask you, honestly, what's one financial decision you would do differently if you could go back? And remember this, 40 isn't a deadline, it's a wake-up call. It's not too late, but it is time. Start now, stay consistent, and I'll see you in the next one.